Imagine a massive global market. It quietly underpins, well, so many things you interact with daily.
Hmm.
Things like, the pills in your medicine cabinet, maybe the instant coffee in your pantry.
Right, everyday stuff.
Exactly. Yet, you've probably never even heard its name. It's not some flashy tech startup or a new gadget. We're talking about the global dry granulation machine market.
Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, does it?
Ha! No, it doesn't. Welcome, everyone, to the deep dive. Our mission today really is to cut through all the detailed data and just pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge. We're digging into market research.
The goal being.
To give you a shortcut, basically, to being genuinely well-informed about this pretty fascinating specialized industry, we want to uncover not just how much it's growing, but why that growth is so significant and, what it tells us about the hidden engines of our modern economy.
And maybe we should clarify quickly what dry granulation is, because it's not common knowledge.
Good point. Yeah. For those of you thinking, okay, what is that? It's a really crucial manufacturing process. Think pharmaceuticals, food, chemicals.
Primarily those sectors, yes.
Right. So imagine you have powdered materials. Instead of adding liquids to bind them, which can be expensive or might even damage the product.
Or just isn't suitable for certain materials.
Exactly. These machines, they compact and densify those powders. They turn them into uniform, free-flowing granules.
Making them much easier to handle downstream.
Yeah, easier to handle, store, process. Essentially, it helps turn that loose powder into, say, a consistent pill or a stable detergent or maybe an instant soup mix that dissolves just right.
It's precision manufacturing, really, at its core.
Totally. And all our insights today, just so you know, are backed by detailed data and projections from cognitive market research. So when we look at the initial global snapshot, the numbers, they're pretty compelling. This market generated over $500 million globally back in 2021. Specifically around $557 million. By 2025, that's projected to climb to over $670 million. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Go on.
It's forecast to expand significantly, nearing $1 billion, think almost $976 million by 2033.
Wow, okay, nearly $1 billion.
Yeah. And that represents a compound annual growth rate, or a CAGR, of about 4.8% annually, which is, a really solid indicator of consistent foundational growth, isn't it?
It really is. What stands out here for me is that consistent upward trajectory. We're talking over more than a decade.
Right.
And in what many might just dismiss as like a niche sector.
Right.
It's not that explosive tech story, obviously, but it's testament to the essential and growing demand for efficiency and precision in manufacturing globally.
That's a great way to put it.
It really prompts us to consider, what are the underlying industrial shifts driving this steady expansion?
Okay, let's unpack that then. Where is this growth really coming from? If we zoom in, it becomes pretty clear that Asia-Pacific is the powerhouse. It's the dominant region here.
Okay, APAC.
Yeah. It's showing impressive growth, going from around $252 million in 2021, projected to almost double, getting close to $470 million by 2033.
Almost double.
And
Don't see a GI there.
Strong, about 5.3%.
Higher than the global average?
Exactly. And within Asia-Pacific, we see China as a major player, expected to hit over $128 million by 2033. Japan's also significant. But India is truly a high-growth market here. It's surging from around $39 million to almost $79 million.
Big jump.
Huge jump, with an even higher CAGR of over 6%.
Over 6%.
Yeah. And then you've got other significant contributors across the region, too, like South Korea, Australia, Southeast Asia as a whole.
So if we kind of connect this to the bigger picture, right?
Right.
Asia-Pacific's leadership in this market. It's a clear indicator of just robust industrial development.
Makes sense.
And that increasing demand for precision manufacturing across the region. India's accelerated growth in particular, well, that speaks volumes about its booming pharmaceutical industry, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And its role in global drug supply chains.
Exactly. Dry granulation is absolutely critical for producing consistent, high-quality medications. You need that reliability.
Okay, so APAC is the leader. Let's move over to North America. Now, it's not growing quite as explosively as APAC, but it's still a substantial market and incredibly consistent.
It's ready.
Pretty much. From about $133 million in 2021, it's projected to reach over $213 million by 2033. Solid CAGR there, too, around 4.1%.
Still healthy growth.
Definitely. And the U.S. is leading this, projected to hit over $174 million by 2033. Interestingly, Canada is also showing a strong CAGR around 4.9%.
Oh, higher than the U.S. rate then.
Yeah, slightly higher rate, though smaller base. And Mexico is seeing consistent revenue increases as well.
This brings up, I think, an important question for North America. What specific sectors are really driving this consistent demand?
Good question.
We know pharmaceuticals are big, obviously,
Yeah.
but you also see significant applications in food processing.
Right, like you mentioned, drink mixes, instant ingredients.
Exactly. And also in the chemical industry. Think producing consistent fertilizers or various industrial powders.
Okay.
So this points to a pretty diverse industrial base in North America that relies on this specific technology. It's not just one thing.
Gotcha. All right, let's hop across the pond to Europe. Europe also holds a significant share of this market. Recorded sales around $107 million back in 2021, projected to rise to over $175 million by 2033.
So comparable in size to North America by 2033, roughly.
Roughly, yeah, getting close. And Germany is leading the charge in Europe, expected to climb from about $21.5 million to nearly $38 million by 2033.
Germany's manufacturing strength showing through.
For sure. The UK is also on a strong upward trend, as is France. Plus, other key European countries like Italy and Spain are contributing significantly. And there's broad growth across many smaller nations, too, like Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland.
You know, the diversity of growth across European nations with Germany at the forefront, that really tells us something. It speaks to the widespread industrial application and the adoption of this technology right across the continent.
Ah, okay.
It's not just concentrated in one or two countries. You see many integrating these machines into, a variety of sophisticated production lines. It reflects a mature, yes, but still expanding industrial landscape there.
That makes sense. A broad base.
Exactly.
Okay, and finally, let's look at the emerging markets. They're contributing significantly to the global total, and they show some great potential.
Right, the rest of the world picture.
Yeah. So South America. The market there is set to grow from about $32 million in 2021 to nearly $59 million by 2033.
Decent growth.
Pretty decent. Brazil leads there, expected to reach over $22 million by 2033. Argentina and Colombia also showing solid growth.
Okay.
Then you have the Middle East market, also expanding from around $19 million to over $34 million by 2033. Saudi Arabia leads in this region, followed by Turkey and the UAE.
Interesting mix there, too.
And in Africa, we see steady growth, from about $14 million to nearly $25 million. South Africa is projected to be the largest market on the continent.
So what's particularly insightful about these regions, South America, Middle East, Africa, is how, despite their smaller overall market sizes compared to, say, APAC or Europe,
Right? Much smaller numbers.
they represent really significant opportunities for future expansion. Their growth reflects these broader trends we see in industrialization, increasing the local production capabilities.
Building things themselves more.
Exactly, and a focus on self-sufficiency, perhaps, which in turn drives demand for precision machinery, like this dry granulation equipment, within their own borders.
That's a really interesting angle, localizing production.
Precisely.
Okay, so boiling it all down, what does this all mean for you, the listener? We've seen this impressive global growth rate, the dry granulation machine market, nearing that billion-dollar mark by 2033.
Quite a milestone.
Definitely. We know Asia-Pacific is the dominant force, high-growth areas like India and China leading the charge, driven by massive manufacturing scales in critical sectors like pharmaceuticals.
Check.
We've also acknowledged the strong, consistent contributions from North America and Europe, supported by diverse and mature industrial applications.
Solid and steady.
Right. And let's not forget the significant growth potential in those emerging markets, South America, the Middle East, Africa, as they industrialize and build out their own production capabilities.
So these figures,
Mm-hmm.
they really aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet, are they?
No, they tell a story.
They reflect fundamental underlying industrial shifts, the widespread adoption of specific manufacturing technologies, and potentially even new applications for dry granulation tech cropping up across various sectors worldwide. This sustained demand, it really points to the quiet yet vital role these machines play, ensuring the quality, the consistency, the efficiency of everything from our medications to our food and chemical products. It's foundational.
Yeah, foundational is a good word for it. Given this robust and sustained growth in such a highly specialized sector, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other seemingly niche technologies might be quietly experiencing similar impressive expansion?
Good question.
Underpinning the very fabric of our modern economy without us even realizing it.
It just goes to show, I think, how digging into specialized market data like this can reveal these deeper, sort of interconnected trends that are shaping our world, often behind the scenes.
Absolutely. Something to think about. You ever stop and think about those hidden processes, the industrial stuff that actually shapes our world? I mean, the behind the scenes tech that impacts the products we use daily, medicines, supplements, all that. Well, today we're doing a deep dive into one of those areas, the global dry granulation machine market. Sounds specific, I know, but it's really fundamental for pharma, nutraceuticals, chemicals, too.
Absolutely. And our mission here really is to pull out the key insights from the research you sent over, specifically that cognitive market research report. We want to get past the surface level, understand the forces, the challenges, and where this whole thing is heading. Think of it as a shortcut, basically, getting you up to speed on a really crucial bit of industry.
Okay, let's do it. So what's pushing companies towards dry granulation? The source mentions big demand from pharma, right?
Yeah, that's a major one. It makes a lot of sense because these machines are perfect for stuff that, well, doesn't like moisture or heat.
Right, sensitive ingredients. But what does that really mean for drug companies? What's the practical upside?
Well, think about it. It's not just about preventing stuff from going bad. Imagine trying to make advanced biologics or those mRNA vaccines. Tiny amounts of moisture could ruin everything. So as pharma production ramps up globally, especially in places like India, China, Brazil, dry granulation becomes, well, essential. It enables whole new types of drugs that wet methods just couldn't handle. It's like a silent guardian.
Huh. A silent guardian. I like that. So it unlocks new possibilities. But it's not just the sensitivity, is it? There's an economic angle, too. The report talks about cost effectiveness, energy savings. That seems huge.
Oh, it is a massive driver. Think about traditional methods, heating, drying huge batches. That costs a fortune in energy and time. Dry granulation just, skips that whole step.
So what kind of efficiency gain are we talking about? Is it marginal or genuinely significant?
No, it's genuinely transformative. You get faster processing, much lower running costs, way less energy use. Connect that to the bigger picture. It's not just saving a few quid here and there. It means big operational efficiencies. That could potentially make medicines cheaper, more accessible. Plus, it shrinks the carbon footprint, which, matters more and more. ESG and all that fits right into lean manufacturing.
Okay, so efficiency, cost, even environmental benefits makes sense. But then there's the regulatory side. You mentioned FDA, EMA pushing for consistency. How does dry granulation help there?
Yeah, that's another key piece, quality control. These machines give you much better control over the granule properties, size, density, uniformity.
And that helps meet the stricter rules.
Exactly. It helps manufacturers hit those compliance targets and maybe even more importantly, avoid incredibly costly product recalls. Imagine a pharma company facing a massive recall because dosages are inconsistent. Dry granulation offers a way to really minimize that risk, a much more robust method.
Right, avoiding the nightmare scenario. I get that. Okay, so lots of powerful reasons to adopt it, but it can't be all plain sailing. What are the roadblocks? The source mentioned high initial costs. That sounds familiar for industrial tech.
It definitely is, and it's a big one here. These machines, particularly the roller compactors, the ones that press powder into sheets first, they cost a lot up front.
Right.
For smaller companies, maybe medium-sized ones too, that initial outlay plus installation, setup, maintenance, it's not just a hurdle, it's potentially prohibitive. It can really slow down adoption, especially in developing markets or for startups.
So a big barrier to entry. What else? Does it work for everything? Are there limits on the materials?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Restricted applicability. It works best when the powder itself naturally flows well and compacts easily. But that's not always true, especially for certain APIs, active pharmaceutical ingredients. So for some complex formulations or stuff that's just hard to press together, you might still need traditional wet granulation, even if it's less efficient overall. It handles a wider range, perhaps.
Okay, so not a universal fix. And the last point the research raised was technical complexity, needing skilled people. How big a bottleneck is that, really?
It can be pretty serious. Running these machines isn't simple. You need technicians who really understand the material science, the machine's quirks.
Right, not just pushing buttons.
Exactly. If you have a shortage of those skilled people, it can directly impact your product quality. You might wear out the equipment faster, And it just generally slows down how quickly the technology spreads, especially in regions where that specific skill set isn't as developed.
Okay, so we've got the picture now. Strong drivers pushing forward, but also some pretty significant breaks like cost and skills. Where is this market heading? What are the big trends shaping its future?
Well, the first really big one is the move towards continuous manufacturing.
Uh,
Dry granulation, especially roller compaction,
mm.
fits beautifully into continuous production lines. And what's really exciting there is the scalability it offers. You can drastically cut down time between batches, boost overall efficiency way beyond traditional batch processing. It's a fundamental shift, really. More flexible, faster time to market.
Continuous manufacturing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a game changer for efficiency. And the source also mentioned automation and digital monitoring,
Mhm.
smart factories.
Absolutely. That's the second major trend. Modern machines have sensors, real-time monitoring,
Right.
AI for predictive maintenance. It's all very Industry 4.0.
Right.
Connecting systems, using data to optimize everything. You get more precision, you can solve problems before they happen, less manual intervention. Operators can focus on the trickier stuff.
So smarter machines, better data, makes sense. And finally, it's not just staying in pharma, is it? The market's expanding.
That's right. And that's crucial for resilience. We're seeing adoption in nutraceuticals, think supplements, functional foods,
Mm.
also agrochemicals, specialty chemicals. They're finding that producing uniform, dust-free granules is really valuable for them too. So this diversification opens up new revenue streams for the machine makers, makes them less reliant on just one sector. It really changes the competitive landscape. So just to wrap up our deep dive here, the global dry granulation machine market is, well, it's clearly very dynamic, poised for pretty solid growth. That growth is fueled by innovation, by regulatory pressure for consistency, and definitely by its widening use across different industries. But as we discussed, overcoming challenges like that high upfront cost and finding enough skilled people is going to be key to unlocking its full potential.
So, what's the takeaway for you listening? Well, think about how these advancements, things that seem kind of niche, like dry granulation or continuous manufacturing, how they might actually affect the cost, the availability, maybe even the quality of essentials like medicines or supplements down the line. How does that hidden industrial efficiency translate into real world impact for us as consumers? And, what other innovations might pop up as this market keeps evolving? Something to think about.